Welcome to
Absolute Game of Nerd!
tonight's episode. We have a monster, a Colossus Collector with us today. And Rohan will introduce our non-geek, non-nerd guest, as we are the non-geek, non-nerd hosts. Go ahead,
Yeah.
sir.
Another great guest with us today. I've been following Ryan, and we've chatted here and there almost the entire time I started collecting, which has now been about a year and a half. Just kind of very same vein in terms of like what we collect, what we like. So I was just like thinking the other day, and he started a channel as well. I've been watching him, and it's just like, why have we not asked this guy onto the channel? So we have corrected that wrong. Ryan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. I've been looking forward to it, and thanks for having me on.
Right on. So yeah, we always kind of kick things off with our first timers with an origin story, and hopefully, it's your origin in anything related to this. So as a kid, was it cartoons? Is it cards? Like, what talk to us about how you got started in all of this.
Yeah, so I mean, I watch your guys' show a lot. I know you kind of have similar origin stories over and over and over, and I think I might be a little bit of a repeat.
Yeah, that's all right. We're a lot of us are all the same.
But so I'm a '90s kid too, and I would say my collecting journey actually really kind of started in sports cards, hockey cards, but I kind of got into Marvel through the cartoons of the 90s. Of course, X-Men, that's really a lot of where my X-Men fandom is rooted. But also like Spider-Man. And then I also used to rent the old like 60s cartoons, Submariner, Captain America, Spider-Man, Hulk, Thor, you name it. I would rent it on VHS at the movie store, Blockbuster or whatever, and so I kind of got introduced to Marvel a lot through that, and that's kind of what the cartoons is really what got me into Marvel as a kid. I didn't really collect comics right away. I did get a set of Marvel Masterpiece 1994 Marvel Masterpiece trading cards as a kid. I had like the whole set. I traded that.
Set.
Yeah, it's an amazing set. Artwork's amazing. I traded it for like a collection of like Pogs or something back in the day from a guy at school, and I just kept that set of cards all the way till now. And then like kind of towards like the late 90s or like just past the mid 90s, I had a short stint in collecting comics, and it was like really short lived, but I kept all those books. And then of course, you get into your teen years and you start just chasing girls, chasing life, college and everything. And then it wasn't until early last year, I started I'd already been into the Marvel movies, the MCU, a big MCU fan. For the whole duration of that, and was really into the MCU. So I think that's what sort of started to get my eye towards comic books. After Endgame, I started hearing about like how comics were really making a comeback. I started watching channels like Gem Mint, and then like Comic Tom from him, and I sort of started like thinking, I kind of want to get into comics and start reading them, start collecting them. And then like, I have that collector bug. I just, as soon as I got into it, I just went crazy, and I've been hooked ever since. So it's been like a year and a half. And yeah, started with Instagram where I met you, Rohan. And then earlier this year, I was like, okay, I'm about a year into this. Now I want a YouTube channel. So I started a YouTube channel, and it's been great. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now.
Yeah, I was gonna say real quick, just kind of going back to, you said you're a 90s kid. I think when we just look over your left shoulder there and we see those X-Men ones, it's a dead giveaway to the 90s kids. Those
right
are
there.
Those and the Spider-Man one. Those are all the books we grew up on right there.
Sorry, go ahead.
Listen to Reggie Collects. He hasn't made any new content in a while, but I used to listen to him a lot. And I don't know if this was more recent, but he was hinting about collecting all of those 90s books. And I think even including stuff like this kind of stuff, like Cyberforce, like the image things, and getting
Yep.
these all like graded and then having them like you have them displayed in just like a sort of a homage to your own childhood, what you collected. And I thought that was kind of neat. I mean, you're not going to get a whole lot of value on Cyberforce, but it's just more of I remember when I got that book, right, when they all left and went to image type thing. So I'm not sure if he actually completed that or what, if you guys have watched him recently, but
I haven't seen
a
anything
cool
he's
idea.
put out recently, so yeah, I didn't know. I didn't say that. That would be pretty sweet. I know the money it would take. There's a lot of books there.
Yeah, you'd have to pick which ones. Like you
Yeah.
got all the X-Men ones there, right? So all the different covers.
Yeah.
To start there, you know.
I wanted like that cover is so awesome. It shows like the whole team, and I wanted 9/8, all four of them, and then I wanted to be able to display them all together in a row. So that was like a big goal last year that I went after, and I just bought them slabbed. And
Yeah, I would say if you want them in 9/8, I feel like you're just better off just probably buying them because they're not crazy expensive, and you have it's guaranteed in the bag.
I actually started buying them raw because they were just so plentiful, and I was like, oh yeah, maybe I'll just keep getting them until I get the 9/8. But then I was like, you know what? I'll just get the slabs. I want a slab now. I hadn't started grading or like sending books in yet either, so I just I just went for it and bought them. Probably paid a little too much for them, but I enjoy having them.
I think we all played a little too much for a lot of things back in 21 and 22 at some portion, you know.
Yeah.
Even things you might have bought a couple months ago, I've seen some of a drop. So, you know.
I think yeah. I mean, right now we're in that point where everything is kind of trending down, and you just kind of got to be okay with it. Like, just find your deals that you want, and don't feel bad about it. If you're buying the right books and books that you like, you're going to enjoy them. Don't worry about it. And in the long run, those big keys, they'll come back. So I don't think you need to worry.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it at all. I think it's actually kind of great because last year was my first year in, and yeah, I was crazy buying comics, but like I didn't really buy like anything insane last year where like it dropped by thousands and thousands of dollars or like half price now. This is the year where I've really started like getting a little bit bigger keys, and I'm buying in, I think, at a good time. So I've really enjoyed the lower prices this year.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a good if it's definitely a good time to buy. So what we want to go back to though, kind of starting with the origin, Colossus Collector. I know obviously, but let's just say we're assuming you're a Colossus fan. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, so I kind of missed that in my origin. So also as a kid in the 90s, I used to go to this there was this like big sports store outlet that had this cool like arcade kids play area, and it had this giant X-Men Konami arcade game with the 6-player joystick console and everything. You could play with up to 6 people, and Colossus was like the character I always used to play as. I just kind of fell in love with the character just from playing the game. I mean, didn't really know much more than how cool he was in the game, and just kind of always liked him. And then as I've gotten older, I've learned more about him, and then he was kind of sort of in the original X-Men movies, but not like a big character. I always wished he would become a bigger character. And then Deadpool came out, and he was like, now we finally got a Colossus that like I'm excited about, and he's being done justice finally, because I've always felt like Colossus is a really well used character. Like, he's been used throughout the X-Men and the Marvel history, but like never given the due I think that he deserves. But I'm biased, of course. So it was cool to see him in that. I'm just hoping that as the MCU kind of brings in a new X-Men team in the future, if they last, I hope they last, that they'll bring a Colossus again, and he'll get a little more of his due. But I'm not holding my breath on that. But yeah, so I just he's just always kind of been my favorite X-Men since then. And when I started back up in collecting, I was like, okay, I think I want to pursue more books of Colossus and X-Men in general, and that's how I picked the name, and I've been running with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, since you also brought up the '90s X-Men cartoon, I remember as a kid, I always I always wished Colossus was a more consistent character on the show.
Yeah,
The episodes he was on were awesome, like those the ones with Omega Red, and
yeah,
like it was so good.
yeah.
But also, good.
Sorry, his first episode in the series was was
Against Juggernaut, right?
as Juggernaut, which is one of his go-to foes that he always fought. And then and then there was the Omega Red episode. I don't know if he had more than 2 appearances. I have kind of a bad memory with it, but yeah, those are both really, really good episodes.
Yeah, I
And
remember
No,
thinking
he was
like,
he was in the Fox movies too, wasn't he? He was a younger
Yeah.
version of
yeah.
Yeah.
He
which they never really used him to the full extent, like you said. I was kind of
Yeah,
waiting
there
for
was
that to happen.
there's that scene in X-Men X2, which I think is still one of the best movies,
totally
where
agree.
where the soldiers invade the house,
Yeah.
and like they go into this room, and he metals up, and they shoot, just like bounces off him, and then you see the soldiers explode through the wall, and then Wolverine's like, "Get out of here!" And he's like, "I could help you." And like in that moment, I remember being like, "Yeah, Colossus can kick some ass."
And that was it.
And then he goes, "No, help them." And he goes, "Okay," and he leaves. I was like, "Damn it!"
Yeah, I know. He got just a small little moment, and it was a cool moment. But yeah, then he was in the 3rd movie, which is kind of the worst one out of that trilogy. And like they do he's got a bigger role in there. Like he's in the final battle. He does a fastball special with Wolverine. So that was all cool. But yeah, it wasn't until Deadpool where he was like he got to shine.
It's what I think one thing. So I love Colossus as well. I think people, obviously everyone loves Wolverine, and rightfully so. He's awesome. Storm gets a lot of love. I think she's probably the 2nd most popular X-Men, I would guess.
Mhm.
And then Cyclops gets some due. But really, when you go down the line, like people kind of don't realize that like most of the team are like Omega level mutants, and they're all badass in their own right. And kind of talking to the movies, the opening scene of X2, when you see Nightcrawler in the White House,
So good.
dude, that scene is so dope. And it's like up until that point, like I never really thought of like Nightcrawler as a awesome ability wise, like he teleported, but I didn't really think about it. And then you like see that scene, you're like, holy crap, like this guy is awesome.
That scene, I would say, is like one of my favorite out of all the Marvel movies that have been done outside of the MCU and MCU. That's probably like one of my favorite solo character battle scenes, like out of any of the movies. I think the only other one that I would put on the same level is, well, Colossus versus Juggernaut in Deadpool 2, and then but that's more biased. And then when Thor comes to Wakanda after getting
the axe.
The axe, man, that part when he comes down, oh man, that's like one of my favorite moments. But they did that so well, and it's too bad that like he was only in that movie. I didn't love the casting for Nightcrawler, but man, did they get that scene super well. It was super well done.
Yeah, I like the casting. I like that casting better than the Age of Apocalypse Nightcrawler cast.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I missed that difference in the two of them.
Yeah,
it's kind of it's a younger kid. He's like,
and he's got like more of like an actual attitude.
Oh yeah, okay, no, yep, I get it now. That's right. Yep, I remember that was.
Yeah,
I mean, they had a couple good castings. Obviously, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine was, even though he was too tall to be Wolverine.
Yeah,
I heard recently the guy that played Harry Potter is supposed to be Wolverine cameo in Deadpool 3, and I'm like, that. I mean, maybe we'll see, but Cyclops was pretty good. Jean Grey I thought was good. And
Halle Berry as Storm I thought was good, and
so I mean,
what's his name? What's the actor's name that did
Fraser?
Yeah, Fraser. He was great he was perfect as Beast, I thought.
So and then
he was great as Beast.
Like I think they all were spot on, and then when they got the younger version, that was a couple were pretty decent, but they always had to bring back Wolverine. They couldn't have redo.
He's
Yeah.
the money maker, man.
Yeah.
They're bringing him back again.
Yeah.
know.
On that note, Age of Apocalypse was a terrible movie, but the casting they did for the young kind of punk rock Storm, I thought was fantastic.
I liked her too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I thought Olivia Munn was good as
Oh, it's Psylocke. Yeah, I'm
I
a big
agree.
Olivia
I thought that
Munn
was good.
fan too. So yeah, that
she
was a good casting.
definitely fit that role for sure. There's been some good casting, and it's kind of like hit or miss, right? In the X-Men movies, and I kind of liked Liev Schreiber as Sabretooth.
I just saw this week that he's coming back for Deadpool 3 to be Sabretooth.
Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah,
I think
I
everybody.
mean, there's tons of rumors, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm really starting to concern myself or getting concerned with Deadpool 3. And I'm just hoping it's because they're going to be running through so many universes that they're just going to kind of like pass through and see these characters.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's like they've literally announced 72 different characters that are going to be in this
question.
movie.
Okay, so we all saw, which Spider-Man was it that all three of them were in it?
The last one, No Way Home. No Way Home, yeah.
No Way Home.
Yeah. And Multiverse of Madness was fan service. So was No Way Home. To have all three of them on, and I loved it. I thought
No Way Home was great. Yeah, No Way Home is the
so
best.
If they have everybody in Deadpool 3, I mean, I guess it's fan service, but that's what we want to see, these people back together somehow.
I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying, like, typically the way these things go, when you kind of like fill them with so much like bluster, it's usually like that. All it is bluster, and they like, oh, we got all these characters. We don't need to like take the time to write a good story and things like that. So that's what that's all I'm talking about.
Even that's what I'm trying to wonder is, how could they could screw it up somehow, but I think it's going to be neat, but it may not be lasting in regard to a story wise,
Yeah, I hope since Ryan Reynolds is involved and his original team with Deadpool, and they did so well in the first two movies, I'm hoping like they'll since they're involved, you can kind of trust a little bit more that things are going to be done well there. But it's funny, like even before Spider-Man No Way Home came out, like there were so many rumors of cameos. Same with Multiverse, like tons and tons of rumors, and a lot of them didn't come true. So I have a feeling that'll be the case with Deadpool. I think I just heard the other day that the director said in an interview that he's seeing all these rumors, and that he says some of them are true and some of them are not. So I mean, take that.
That's a kind of a cool little like play by Marvel, if that's the case, to like let's throw people off and just start announcing people every week about, oh, so and so's coming back, like especially when it's like Ben Affleck coming back for Daredevil and things like that. Like, I don't need that.
No, I really don't. But then they have like, there's this new Daniel Radcliffe rumor, and then there's Taylor Swift as Dazzler. They're talking about Channing Tatum as Gambit. Like, there's just so many. There's no way they're gonna have them all in there.
I would like them to, if they're going to put someone in there like Daniel Radcliffe or Channing Tatum, or let's say if what's her name, Taylor Swift, then they keep it for the Secret Wars. So at least they're in a couple movies. So it was worth the price to go in and see the movie as opposed to just fan service. Like I was kind of pissed that John Krasinski was killed so quickly in Multiverse, and he's not going to be Reed Richards. Agent Carter, I mean, they kind of got rid of her pretty quickly and all that. I mean, it was cool to see him, but they just killed him off so fast that it was like, it kind of was a downer, So bring him in and then keep him in for a couple of movies and then reset everything maybe.
I would not be surprised. I would say a couple things on that. If Taylor Swift is Dazzler, there's no way she's going to be in a couple movies. I feel like she cannot commit to that kind of thing. I feel like
I'm sure it's not going to be a very big role. I'm just saying, like, she could have a couple cameos that she was the Dazzler for a couple movies as opposed to the one and done.
She could potentially appear in Secret Wars in the final battle or something like that again. Like, it's possible. I think they're going to try and make that, whatever that Endgame moment is in Secret Wars, they're going to try and top Endgame, right? So it's going to be probably so vast, so many characters. You're just going to see people popping out of nowhere, and
not to mention, right? That's supposed to then like culminate the whole multiverse saga. So you're gonna have multiple versions of the same character and all
Totally,
kinds of
yeah.
things going on.
It's kind of it's a little bit possibilities are kind of endless, but I hope they just don't overdo it and it just gets stupid, right?
Yeah, I
But
mean, we're already kind of in the stupid phase right now.
yeah, but they're hurting, man. Like I think they really need to take a look at what they're doing and right the ship before it's a little too late. Like it might be too late. I'm hoping it's not, but yeah, I that's why I think the rumors around like them just completely doing like some kind of reboot after this saga is out there because they need to get like Iron Man, Captain America, all those core characters that bring a lot of people to the theaters in the same universe at the same time with the X-Men and with the
Fantastic
Fantastic
Four.
Four so that they can do kind of proper comic storylines and big events like they did with Endgame. But think about how amazing Endgame would have been if you would have had X-Men in that
Oh
universe,
yeah,
and you know what I mean?
Silver
Like
Surfer.
it's
Yeah.
Silver Surfer
I
100%,
mean,
right? So
he
Yeah.
was so huge in Infinity Wars,
Yeah.
but it's
I
a
mean,
and him and Warlock.
yeah. Oh yeah, and Adam Warlock. If they would have done a great Adam Warlock, that he would have been perfect for a Thanos
But
story like that, right?
I had heard he was supposed to be in Guardians 2, which he was, and then bring him into the Infinity Saga somehow, and then I think they fired James Gunn after that, or something
Hmm.
happened that they didn't bring him in, and then they bless you, then they made Doctor Strange to get the Adam Warlock role. So
Mm.
I don't know. I mean, there's so many different stories they could tell, but you can get this universe so big that it's like
It's too big.
they become too big, and the events. I remember, not to bring this, a negative thing up, but like after 9/11 happened, every time Fox News had an alert, it was like a big deal, right? Because there was big alerts that happened. But 5 years later, I don't need a Fox News alert because someone stole a car, or there was a car chase in LA. So these Endgame was, the culmination of all that. Can they top that? I don't know if there's a different way to do it, but I kind of think our expectations are here, and these movies have fallen off, and I don't know if they can top it. And is it even a reality they can get to that again?
yeah,
You
I
know,
mean,
I mean,
here's the thing. I will say, like, Disney didn't buy Marvel to make movies for 30 years. They bought them to make movie for decades beyond. So whether they reboot or whatever, like, they're gonna keep making the movies, and I don't need them to have, like I've said this before in the show, like, I don't need them to have it all be the same universe, right? I don't need every movie to be like, well, where were you during the blip? Like, we can like
yeah.
move on, and like in it, we can even separate worlds, right? Like we can have a Spider-Man and related world. We can have an X-Men and related world. We can have fantastic. Like, I don't need everything to always come together. So to be done well.
Yeah, I kind of thought that's where they were gonna kind of go after Endgame. There was a lot of talk about like, oh, they're gonna have kind of like more of a cosmic thing, and then they're gonna have like a dark sort of
Mhm.
Ghost Rider, horror kind of area of the MCU, and then they're gonna have like an Earthbound storyline, and I think they could do that and still have a connected universe, but just not as like they can those few different universes could kind of live on their own and have their own stories, and then maybe they come together at some point, or some of them come together at some point for a big culminating event.
Yeah,
But
I think you've said exactly what I've said. Like they can
yeah,
have different kind of paths, right? And then if you want to connect them all. Like Spider-Man is the character that is always involved with on the hero side. He's Marvel's biggest guy, and he's in the cosmic stuff. He's in the street side stuff. Like he could be your connecting character, but they can still have their own independent path.
yeah, yeah, totally. Or an Iron Man again, or whatever, right? Like the thing with Spider-Man they have difficult with is that they have to share the rights,
Yeah,
right? Like
exactly, for sure. Yeah,
That
yeah,
was the
yeah.
dumbest thing, to get rid of those rights.
Well, I mean, at the
Short-sighted,
time
I
they were
never going
broke.
bankrupt. I have the
desperate.
stock report, and they talk about the movies they were going to make back then, because all they had left were the Avengers, and they talk about who they were going to bring out movie wise, which is what they did. But like, it didn't help them. They still went bankrupt, right? They sold off
Yeah.
those properties and still didn't make it. So, but I don't think Sony won't give it up. I'm surprised they got the Hulk back. I'm surprised they just went out and bought Fox to get all them back.
They got
So
everything back except for
Spider-Man.
the Spider-Verse. Yeah,
and
but at
as
least
much as I love Spider-Man, it's like it'd be nice if they could. Sony's messed it up so many times, so Sony needs Marvel to do it.
I
But
know.
I'm like, I feel bad that I don't feel bad. I mean, it's money problems, but it's like they always have to involve Sony, and there's always some caveat to getting Spider-Man in, which is the biggest draw. So if they own
Yeah.
Fox now, X-Men could be a huge draw on their own because of we all love them like your wall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We loved them
Yeah.
back in the 90s. So
Yeah.
they could do a whole just a X-Men universe, right? Like
yeah.
they could do Secret Wars and then just start a mutant universe for 10 years or whatever, and that would be awesome.
That's what I'm saying. It would essentially be what comics are, right? Like,
Yeah,
we had all those characters as comics, and like they all took place in the same world, but for the most part, their storylines were very independent. Like they did have crossover issues and things like that, and that's what they can do with the movies, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
I just think now I guess too many people feel it has to be interconnected, so they have to ask the question as to what does this have to do with the ongoing story, which everyone's asked with Phase 4. Where's this going to go? Where's this going to go? And that's my question too, because everything else was interconnected. Whereas DC has their Elseworlds and they have what their main story is going to be. So maybe that's what Marvel has to look at. You know, maybe DC has a better idea for how to keep this going, because they couldn't interconnect it to save their lives at DC. So
yeah, I mean, like they
DC
definitely got a guy now taking charge of things, but they're still a mess until they get that off the ground and we could see how they do it. It's been a mess.
There is a point, I think, and it's not far. It's close to, I think, be like, if they were turn around and were like, yeah, we're not doing this anymore because like they are blowing it. And like all they're doing, still releasing this garbage, is blowing it. Like Flash lost like $200 million. Like,
I don't understand that at all. I love that Flash movie. I don't get that for one second. I lost all the money. I
think it's because everybody knows, or well, most people
there's
know
multiple factors
that it's being rebooted.
It's
so
not,
like there's no
but
like,
that would have been
it's being rebooted, and then the actor and then the actor itself is a disaster. Like there's multiple reasons why.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
I don't think it's as good of a movie as JP thinks it's better than I do, but like
it's
outside
better
of that,
than
like,
Endgame, as far as I'm concerned.
Better than Endgame?
No, he's lying. He's lying.
It did have a lot of. I actually was trying to get my damn HBO Max to work so I could watch it last night because I really like that movie a lot, and I think, like you said, because they know it's going to reboot, but it'd have been a good rebooting point, and knowing that Aquaman's coming out at the end of the year made me wonder, what are you doing here? So had this been in December coming out, it would have been a great reboot movie in my opinion, but they kind of messed that part of it up. And it's kind of like a restaurant that is going out of business or being resold. No one goes in. And I think that's what happened.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, but then not only that, it's not just Flash. They just put out Blue Beetle,
and that
no one went.
No
one went. Everyone's like,
I don't get that one either. That was a good movie too. Did you see it?
Did you go? No,
I haven't seen it, but I've heard it is good. And but the thing is too that like Flash, Blue Beetle, and Aquaman were all filmed before James Gunn took over. So it's kind of like they could just like tank these movies or like trash these movies and start, but then they're losing so much money, right? So they're trying to just make the best of what they should have done. Is they shouldn't have announced that they're rebooting. They should have taken these movies, got these movies out, and then James Gunn comes out and says, all right, we're rebooting this thing. I think they would have got more people into the movies if they did.
I'm just surprised with who they brought into the Flash movie, how that thing did make more money, and it could have been the Flashpoint itself, the reboot itself, and then bring in Blue Beetle and forget about the stupid Aquaman. Put him in as Lobo, and that movie's gonna make billions as soon as they have Lobo on screen.
The joke that you don't understand here is JP is invested in Lobo and invested in what's the dude's name to play Lobo and
Aquaman, Momoa, right?
Momoa, yeah. We even have a bet regarding Omega Men 3. So JP's always pushing the Lobo.
Well, let me ask you this question, because you collected in the 90s. Was Lobo popular in the 90s?
I'm not a DC guy, so I'm not a good person to ask. Like I didn't collect that much in the 90s. Like I was all Marvel, and I'm still all Marvel. So I watched the DC movies, and I to be honest, like I like a lot of them. I'm not super picky about movies, but there are certain things about them that just never quite got to the same level as Marvel.
Okay, but knowing what you know from you can even say like, oh, from an outside looking in,
Yeah.
if you had to rank who is the more popular character, Harley Quinn or Lobo, who would you say?
Harley Quinn.
By a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an argument me and JP
that's
have.
another opinion, and you know what opinions are like.
But also that's, I would say that's definitely because she's been in movies, and Margot Robbie.
I think there's a lot of reasons. Like she's a female. There's not as many female. Like I think there's a lot of factors. Like I'm not saying Lobo isn't as well written or anything like that. I'm just saying from a pure popularity standpoint, like Harley Quinn is just more popular for whatever the reasons are. They're there, and she is more popular. That's the point.
I tend to agree with that because I knew who Harley Quinn was before I got into comics.
Exactly.
I didn't really know Lobo until I got into comics.
We all know Harley Quinn.
I'm not a DC guy, so it's hard for me to be a proper voice on the subject.
I didn't watch the Batman. I watched some of the Batman animated series, but I could have cared less for Harley Quinn. And I remember seeing the Lobo posters and the comics throughout, and it was a hard one to find, at least. And again, these are pre-internet days, right? Mm-hmm. So whatever my circle of collecting people did and what we wanted to get might have been way different than the other side of the country.
That's very true.
For some reasons, but I still, in my opinion, and my opinion is the only one that's worth anything here, is the fact that I think that Harley Quinn, Lobo, and Deadpool are that trifecta that all should be in the same value, because I mean they're all that, in my opinion, that character, that Lobo's that fourth wall breaking character like Deadpool can be. And there was a time where I thought Deadpool, this was in the 90s, that he would be, or Lobo was going to be the DC version of Wolverine, right? But they, whatever happened, the writer didn't take it, whatever it was, things happen for a reason, and DC didn't make the movies, and Marvel did.
Yeah, and so. I agree. I think if Lobo comes out, Momoa's in it, and they kill, Lobo books might be on par with the Deadpools and the Harley Quinns. I don't know, but like that's a
fact, man. That's a fact.
Harley Quinn and Deadpool are huge right now because they've been in huge movies.
They're in the zeitgeist, but they are pop culture icons.
And you can't tell me that Lobo wouldn't be like that.
I wouldn't. I think if it's done well, as long as it's done well, and people like Momoa as him, I wouldn't be surprised if he's right in there.
I don't deny popularity for the character will go up if done well.
Yeah.
I just think at this point they're so far ahead.
Sure.
I don't think my personal opinion is that they won't catch up. So you never know, man. You never know. And this is why the bet is fun. Granted, we probably have like 10 years before we see Lobo on screen.
I wish you both luck on the bet.
Yeah. Anyways, though, since we're talking about back to the comic books, let's kind of bring this back to the collecting side of things.
Nice.
You were saying when you started off, it didn't matter how expensive the books were because the books you bought were small. Your tastes have evolved, as all of our tastes have evolved. Kind of walk us through the journey.
Yeah. So, I guess when I got started, my main thing was, I started buying some X-Men. I bought like a couple other things here and there. But I made the goal. Okay. I wanted to get I wanted to get, 90, basically giant size X-Men 94, then to 300. That was kind of the Claremont run.
Same as Mike from Lunch Money.
Yeah. That was kind of my goal starting out, along also with the 11 book run of Adjectiveless X-Men by Jim Lee. That was that was also
No,
kind of
just
my
X-Men, not
just X-Men.
adjective.
Oh,
Not,
okay.
Adjectiveless X-Men. That's what they are.
You said which one's 11?
1 to 11. So
11 is the worst
so
cover
this
ever.
this run to 11, right?
11's the worst cover.
JP doesn't like the cover.
11's
Yeah, it's so
oh
good. It's so
no.
dope. It's so
I
good.
have the second print from the board game, the
The
silver
gray,
one.
or yeah, the
The
silver.
silver one.
Oh,
I
nice.
love that book. Yeah, so that was kind of my starting goal, and I just started buying X-Men. And then I don't remember, at some point last year I started thinking, well, you know, why start at giant size or not 94? Maybe I should try for the whole thing. So I'll do the 1 to 67 of the Silver
For the
Age
rerun, for the reprints.
before the reprints, and that'll I'll make that part of my long-term goal as well. And then so as I kept getting into it over the year, the first year last year, I was buying up X-Men. I'd buy some Silver Age stuff here and there, and as I started to buy the Silver Age stuff, I really started liking Silver Age and like really liking it. And the more I bought Silver Age, the more I wanted Silver Age. And so as like the end of the year to this year, the end of the year turned into this year, I started like sniping more Silver Age books. I've expanded now to I'm trying to put together a silver to bronze age Submariner run. So like sub 1 to what I forget the number it ended at. And then I'm working on an Alpha Flight run because I'm Canadian and I just want to have the Alpha Flight run. And I'm also working on a Adam Warlock run. So basically like all his early books and then like his self-titled books up until some point in the bronze. I'm terrible at remembering numbers, book numbers and stuff, but I have it all kind of listed in my phone. But that's kind of a shorter run. But I basically got all the big Warlock keys now.
So just the run
I see him
fillers.
behind you there.
Yeah, some of them there, and yeah, I'm just putting together the bronze part of the run, and yeah, and then just now just keys. Like I want keys. I think I'd be happy if I got every Marvel key issue ever if I could. Like that would be my sort of pie in the sky goal.
Now, how small of a key are we talking about? Like would you like literally
like
like,
all of them?
Key collector is my checklist basically.
Like first cover appearance of whoever, small. I know Sleepwalker or Darkhawk are their first cover appearance is their first appearance, but yeah, I'd go even that low, but because it's easy to get those books, right? Like
Yeah.
yeah, I want them all.
So let me ask this question: in your ideal PC, your collection is thousands of books.
Yeah, I just love it. I mean, obviously that could change. There's a space component to that. So like I might get to a point where like, okay, maybe this is too much and I wouldn't do that. I'm just thinking in my head, like, how is there too much? Like, I don't know. Like I just love it. But really my focus is more just like bigger stuff right now. Right. And we'll see if I want to go as far as, every key in the future, but yeah, I really like silver. But then I just did a video about like my top 10 bronze, and I'm like, oh, there's so many bronze keys that I really want to get, and so I kind of go back and forth, but the older the better when it comes to Marvel.
Yeah.
The hard part is with your display back there, which do you display? Right.
Yeah.
So
So
as you run out of real estate, where do you go?
I've been
with everything?
expanding more and more, and I am running out of real estate. So I think for the time being, what I'll do is if like as the collection expands, I'll probably just start like rotating books on and off. You know, just enjoy a book for a few months, then take it off, or that sort of thing. So,
are you you grade a lot though, correct?
well, I've graded twice so far, so I wouldn't say a lot, but
What do you mean? How many did you grade?
I graded my first run. My first submission was 21 books, and then my last submission was 20 books. So it
So
was
what is that?
I did a modern submission, and then I did a silver or like a vintage submission.
So when you say you want all these keys, do you want them all graded?
No.
I think there's something about having a Silver Age book that's raw in a nice Mylar.
I totally agree. Like
You know,
I'm so my Submariner run, I'm trying to go pretty much all raw, except I have Submariner 1 and Submariner 5 graded. But like I just bought a Submariner 4 in a 9.0, and it's in an old CBCS case.
Oh yeah, crack
And
that shit
I think
out.
I'm just gonna crack it and throw it in the box, right? Like
Yeah.
so yeah, like I definitely like raw books too. Like most of my X-Men run, I'd like to get raw, but then also have some of the more significant keys in slabs.
Yeah.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That's sort of what I've been grabbing them raw now for a couple that are, they're bigger ones, like you said, bigger keys stay graded, but having them raw, just not that I'm going to read them all.
Yeah.
I don't think I've read a comic in 2 years, so I've been
Yeah,
trying.
I got into omnibus too, so I have a nice omnibus library. Although I've kind of slowed down on buying omnibus because I can't keep up with the reading. Like I was reading a lot for a while, and then I've sort of really slowed down, and like I don't think I've read anything in like a month and a half. I really want to pick back up, but I'm so into like the YouTube stuff and like
Well, now that you have your own,
looking for
that's the thing is
Watching,
like there's
yeah.
only so much time in the day. Now you got your own
yeah.
Do
channel.
you
Like
watch yourself on YouTube or do you watch other people? Like,
Oh, I watch other people.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I'm just like, I don't even watch, like, if I know mine, I'm like, I don't even watch that because I want to watch something else because I know what happened in mine. You know what I mean?
the only time I
Anyways.
go back and watch my videos is if I'm trying to remember, like, oh, what video did I show? Like, because sometimes I'll get a random comment and they'll say something about a book, and then I'm like, oh, I don't even remember what books I showed in this video, so I'll like kind of maybe watch part of it or something like that. But yeah, I try to watch other people's stuff, and
I
I
I
didn't even watch
I, I
it. Yeah.
like I like because we record and this drops 2 weeks later. Like I like to watch it when it comes out, just because sometimes I like forget about like what we talked about, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that was really
yeah.
awesome. Like I enjoy it. Like I don't mind to sound like I'm very into myself. It just I like to watch it the one time, and then I
Yeah,
watch
no,
plenty of other channels, and
I kind of agree with that. I've only done like 3 live streams, or well, I've done 2 lives and 1 pre-recorded stream on my channel so far, and I'm gonna be doing more as time goes on. But I could definitely see myself going back and watching those
yeah,
just
yeah.
because it's conversation and it's like it's just kind of more
Yeah, exactly.
it's
I don't really
entertaining.
watch I don't like watch my like unboxing videos, things
Yeah,
like that.
that's what
Yeah.
that, and most of my channel is kind of unboxings or other different kinds of comic book related videos where I'm just talking to the audience, right? So I don't tend to go back and watch those
Yeah,
too,
but like
too often.
the one you did recently with Mike from Lunch Money and Dan X-Men's
Yeah,
comics, like that one would be a great episode to rewatch because you guys went through a lot of stuff.
yeah, and it was so much fun. I mean, obviously you guys know Mike pretty well and have had him on plenty of times. He's great to talk to. Yeah, so like that's kind of my one of my live series that I'm doing. I'm doing like an X-Men collectors chat series where I just have people who collect X-Men on and we just talk X-Men and that sort of thing. And then I'm doing another one. I've only had 1 episode of it where I just invite any collectors on and we chat just in general about comics and what we collect. So yeah, I'm enjoying that a lot, but I could definitely see myself going back and watching some of those because they were really fun conversations.
Yeah, where do you want to see the channel go from here?
Well, I'd like to get it. I'd like it to get, over 1,000 subscribers. That's kind of my goal right now. And then we'll see where it goes. I mean, I'm doing it for fun. I don't see myself ever getting like rich off this or going
Yeah.
full time. Like I that would be surprising if it ever did go that far. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I think too, we all have to think in relative terms, like, because like if you think about like even sure, like Gem Mint has like 150,000 subscribers and Comic Tom probably has like 50, but otherwise like the biggest one I can think of is like Swaggle Hoss, and I think he has like close to 20,000. Like that's not anywhere near enough subscribers to make a good living off of. Like
Yeah, yeah,
he's just probably just banking a good little comic fund every month.
yeah, yeah.
Right. But that's huge to us because like the hobby, within the hobby, it's huge. But relative to like Ryan's World, who my kids watch, like they're talking millions and tens of millions of followers kind of thing.
It's not a big enough community.
Yeah, exactly.
I think,
exactly.
like,
It's not a big enough hobby.
You guys watch Froggy Flips?
I don't, but
I've watched them a little bit. I not a ton, but yeah, I kind of got into
300,000.
flipping a few years ago through Gary V. So I kind of got into a couple flipping channels.
Yeah, he got 300,000 subscribers or something, so he's making bank there with that many subscribers, but still nothing like the millions you're talking about. But
yeah,
but hey, I do got to bounce, but I will be back on. Rohan, you good for a little bit?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. Yeah. You gotta go get your kids.
Right.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah.
It's in a private chat, but I'll be back.
all right.
Yeah.
No problem.
All right.
So, Ryan, what I want to talk about. So, you had a very ambitious and great collecting goal list for 2023, and I think you just completed it, correct?
Yeah, I I replied to you in my Instagram post, so I guess that was public. So yeah, I officially finished it today. It's a
And again, this is coming out 2 weeks from now, so you can still.
Oh yeah,
announce it.
that's right.
Yeah, you can still announce this on your channel.
All right,
you're
all right.
not spoiling
I
anything.
totally forgot. I'm thinking we're live almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I might as well actually show you. I got it right here.
Nice. Wait, what grade you got? 7.0. Beautiful.
Yeah. So I got this from Dave over at West Coast. Dave
Oh yeah.
Andrews.
Okay. Right on. Yeah.
I did his first show, or I did my first show with him on Wednesday when he does his claim sale, and yeah, this book came up. He actually said that it has a possibility to be, if you cracked it, you could maybe get it up a grade or two. I don't know if I'll risk it, but it was great price, and I just kind of was sitting there. I'm like, I think I probably should jump on this.
I would say it's more than just because, like, I just am not a fan of that old CGC label. And
no,
like,
me neither.
I have my Iron Man 55, the first Thanos is in that label, and it drives me crazy. And it's like, this will definitely, like, especially like when you compare it to those labels right behind you, like that looks nice. Like that old label was garbage.
So one of the first slabs I bought last year, the first one I ever bought out in the wild, was a copy of Uncanny X-Men 248, the first Jim Lee. It's a great Colossus cover. And I bought it in like a 9.2, and it was in the old slab. I didn't really know slabs as well then, because like I was literally brand new into buying books. And so I had that book, but then I bought this one raw, and this was in my first CGC submission. It came back in 9.8. So I sold that. I sold that old slab because I do not like those old slabs.
Yeah, that's great.
You can even tell, like when you like they.
Oh yeah, they're way thinner, and
yeah,
like
they're not.
I also hate what I really hate the most about it is the label is like it's like loose, so it like bends and stuff. Like, oh god, it drives me crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely.
It's like wavy and it
definitely early CGC. So
yeah,
that'll be at the very least a reholder. But maybe I might roll the dice on it. We'll see.
So then on that 94 to 300 run, what percentage are we at?
So with that 94, I just completed giant size to 300. I have
wow. Well, congratulations, man. That is impressive. I know Mike's dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was the last book, the number 94. I didn't think I was going to get it this year. I was planning to put it on my goal. So going back to my goal list for the year, I had an Iron Man 1 on that list, and you know, I've been looking for it this year. Haven't seen it. You know, I've gotten everything else. I had a sub one, got that early. Juggernaut, first Juggernaut, got that early off Heritage as well. Then I had X-Men 101 first Phoenix, got that. And then I had what was the other one? I'm trying to think of the sixth one. Oh, that Giant Size X-Men, which I just got.
Wasn't one of the Warlock books one of them?
Yes, right. So it was Marvel Premiere #1. That's right.
Yeah.
So I got all 5 of those. Giant Size just recently, which was huge for me. That's my grail of grails. First Colossus. So
yeah,
my big book. X-Men 1 is also a big, huge monster grail as well, but that's long term. But if I had to like pick a book, Giant Size is my book because of Colossus. So really excited to get that. And so I've been looking for an Iron Man 1, and then I was on the sale with Dave, and the 94 came up, and I was like, maybe I switch it. And so I went and bought that book, and it was a little bit. I definitely spent my Iron Man money on that book, so I'm pretty excited to have it and finish the run, at least 94 to 300, and now I'm working on silver, and then I think I have like 30, just over 30 books left to get total
of the 1 to 66
of 1 to 300. Yeah, like yeah.
That's awesome. That's all. So you moved Iron Man 1 to 20. Wait, so it is September, and we're recording it September 13th today. So then are you theoretically shutting down the rest of the year in terms of purchasing?
No. I don't think I can. I think just monster bigger books. I probably, unless like you said on the IG comment, unless that perfect deal and you just can't pass it up, I think I'm gonna try and hold on to a little bit of cash for the rest of the back part of the year now. But I still have so I don't know if you guys know Black Crown Comics.
I don't think so.
He's a fellow Canadian YouTuber. He's on. Now I'm gonna forget. He was on a kind of a collaborative kind of live stream channel before, but then he started his own channel this year called Black Crown Comics. 2Ks, no C in that, and he did this thing on Instagram where he made a side quest list, and you've probably seen that on my
I was gonna bring that up. I appreciate, because I have kind of a side quest kind of in my head as well.
Yeah, so I have like my 6 big books for the year, and I've completed that. But then I had about 12 side quest books, and I have maybe 1 or 2 books left to get on that. So that the biggest one on that list is the Hulk versus the Thing. I forget the number. Fantastic Four.
Oh, 111.
Yeah, on the black cover. That's kind of the biggest book. I guess I'm like I have as a goal.
I know of one right now from a guy that I trade with, Mark from Collectibles, posted one today. Here, I'm gonna pull this up, and he, in my opinion, is the best prices on the internet. So let me pull him up here. I'll see if you like it. There he is. What did he have today for it? $55. Comment to claim.
$55.
$55 raw. I'm gonna send this to you right now.
Yeah, shoot it over to me.
Yeah, Mark's the man, dude. He's got the best prices I find on the internet. Yeah. So I saw that today, so it's funny that you said it.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great price. I'm kind of looking for a higher grade than this, but maybe I do just pull the trigger. I don't know. We'll see. $55 is pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So then talk to me about what is so Iron Man 1's on the list. What else? What other goals would your big boy goals for 2024?
I haven't really thought about it yet. Probably another one or two Silver Age X-Men books. I got an X-Men 5 this year, which is a pretty big book. It's the
Do you
second
have
appearance.
do you have 4?
No, so like maybe 4 gets on there. Yeah, I have to think about it a little bit more. I have a lot of the keys after basically from like 12 on.
So then you have 14 for Sentinels.
So I have 12 for Juggernaut. I have 14, 15, and 16 on
Yeah.
Sentinels. So that's like first
Sentinels, Master
Sentinels, first
Mold.
Master Mold, and then the
And
third part
yeah,
of that story. I have first Banshee, I have first Havoc, I have first
Polaris.
Polaris, and then I have the Storenko, the second appearance of Polaris, which is the classic green
Yeah,
Storenko cover
50.
in the first X-Men logo.
Sauron. First Sauron's at like
I have
60.
first Sauron. The one I don't have is Sunfire, so maybe that might end up on my list. Yeah, so I have a lot of the big X-Men keys after 12. But yeah, so maybe something in the first 10. Iron Man 1, like I said, and then I don't know. I don't know what else would be on there. Maybe something in FF. Maybe a first Galactus or a Silver Surfer,
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
would be cool. Oh, and
Nick.
I love that Silver Surfer Thor
Oh,
rainbow.
Silver Surfer 4.
Yeah, oh yeah, Silver Surfer 4. Like
Yeah.
I said, I'm terrible with numbers. Like I just don't remember them. But yeah, I love that cover too. So maybe that could be on there. We'll see. I have to
Yeah,
look at I have to look at prices, what's kind of like what's reasonable, what's I kind of went crazy this year. I really picked some big books. I'm surprised I got them all, but
ambitious. I
we'll
like it.
see. We'll
So
see.
being in Canada, do you find it difficult to get books at all? Like I just know like I ordered so I got my Silver Surfer or no Fantastic 450, so the third part of the trilogy, from the guy Flaming Carrot. You follow him on Instagram.
I
He's a
think I
Canadian
do.
dealer. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a Canadian guy. And so but I live in Washington, so I'm close to the border, and he lives just like on the other side of the border. But like the order from him, it had to then go through customs, so it went down to California, did inspection, and then came back. So it took like 2.5 weeks, which drives me crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Books can sometimes take a while to get here. I mean like but I don't mind waiting for it. It's fine.
Oh
Um
yeah.
yeah, I mean there's definitely some drawbacks to being up here, customs being a big one. Um but sometimes you could find someone to buy from that can kind of finesse the details on that so it doesn't become such a huge burden. Um then there's like and there's some Canadian dealers, and I mean we have LCSs here. I don't buy anything big though from LCSs here because prices are. I imagine it's pretty much the same in the states.
Yeah.
Like it's just they're overpriced for big books.
Yeah, I mean
Uh,
LCS and then cons are even worse. It's just
yeah,
fun to go and like be able to look at like that's the best part of going to the LCS. Like why I go is because just to be in that space with all these books and
yeah,
but like the prices are rarely where you need them, especially when that's the thing is if you're a comic book collector and you're not on the Instagram community, like you are wasting money, like
yeah,
beyond money.
yeah, totally. It's there's so many good opportunities on IG and it's just yeah, IG is definitely the place to just connect with people to
Mhm.
and just yeah, there's always a book coming up and
Yeah, I mean
I
like a perfect. Go ahead.
I just so I follow At Last Comics.
Yeah, I got to follow.
And he posted like a week or two ago this Iron Man 1 and it was priced so low, like under fair market value. And I didn't see it right away and I was going to buy it. I was like I saw the price was like, "Oh my god, I'm buying that book." And it was sold already, but like that's the kind of thing. Like if you're not on there, you're gonna miss out on these
Dude,
crazy
doesn't
deals.
it drive you crazy sometimes when you miss those deals? Like, because I'm thinking that's the one thing with the LCS. Like, it may have been there, you never know because it's gone already, right? That's the one thing that's like, speaking of the X-Men books, like X-Men 14 by no means is a book I do want to have, but it's by no means a priority. Like, it's not super crazy expensive. But I was, doing the scroll and like I saw a buyer, Chef. I've seen you on A1 Comic Sales. You know the guy that does the clips, Chef Grundy. His Instagram has Chef Grundy. He also sells books on there, and he had X-Men 14 for $100, and I was like, dude, I'll take that. And he's like, it already sold. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So like my giant size, like I got that from Nefarious Comics. He's a Canadian dealer, but he's on IG. He posted it. Oh, lost Rohan.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Wait, let's see. I didn't realize my computer wasn't plugged in and it straight died.
No worries.
All right, we're still recording. We're good to go. We'll edit that part out. So I'm on my phone now. All right. So sorry. Last I picked up, you were on Nefarious Comics and what now?
Yeah. So Nefarious Comics on IG. He posted the giant size X-Men one, and I'm looking at it and I was like, it wasn't quite like the I wanted something that presented pretty nicely and like the whites were a little bit bright and whatever, and so I was looking at this book. It was priced pretty nicely, but the way he had it, the lighting didn't make it look as good as it was until I talked to him about it. I said, could you send me some pictures? And he sent me some better lit pictures, and they were like, it was way better. And I was like, oh my God, I think I'm going to try and get this. And yeah. And you get in the DMs and you can work out a good deal on a book that's already like pretty well priced. It's great. I love it on IG. It's
I mean, it's like you said, you can build that relationship with sellers, just by, talking with them, and it's like you can get they already have a good deal. You can get an even better deal just by, asking. And like a perfect example is, so JP, he went to Erie Con this last weekend, and
I just saw his video.
Okay, and you saw in that video, that guy, he pulled out that Avengers 1, and he had it graded. It was a raw copy 5.0. And on the video, you hear him say it's like $8K he wants for that. And like we were talking offline, I was like, dude, that book is half that cost. And Jake was like, yeah, I showed him online and he thought I was crazy. And he's like, I use Overstreet, and it's pretty spot on. And then so that video dropped today, and I literally sent JP a post from Elite from Instagram that is a graded copy 5.5 for half that cost. And it's just like, I don't get how there's so many sellers still that like don't live in the reality of like where the market is.
I've run into that too. It's like there's some old school guys that go off of Overstreet, and I mean I don't know Overstreet very well, and I'm sure that I know there's a lot of great history with Overstreet, but somebody's telling me this book's worth like $1,000. I'm like, I can get this for $400 right now. Like, why are you telling me that it's worth $1,000 when I could buy this in this grade for $400 right now? Like I just and there, I've heard guys defend it saying like, oh, it's because it's fair market value is because one guy sold it for too low or whatever. I'm like, I don't know, man. It is what it is. Like, I'm not gonna buy a book for $1,000 when it's worth $400. Like, it's
Yeah,
just not.
People could say that, and that's also the beauty of the Instagram is like, unless we're talking about like Tech 27 or some like rare golden age book, like all the grails come up multiple times a day. Like that Avengers, I'll probably see an Avengers 1 tomorrow in that
Yeah.
same exact grade range and in that same exact like these aren't fluke sales.
No.
Like for example, the last con I went to, this guy had a raw FF49, so it's the second of the trilogy, the first full Galactus, first cover, and it was a raw, and he had it for $5,000, and I was like, dude, do you realize that this book is regularly sold for $500? And they look at you like you're an alien. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is the first Galactus. How could you pay that? Like, who was going to sell for that low? It's like everybody. That's where the market is on it.
Alex the Comic Order posted like a short recently, and he was in an LCS, and they were showing these books that were like priced for $400-$500, and they're like $20 books.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if Overstreet's that bad. Like, it's some guys are just on another planet. I don't know.
Yeah. And that's JP and I, we've talked about this a lot. It's just like, especially when you go to the con, it's like these dealers, it's like, where do these guys, because like it's funny, like we're in this Instagram community for comics, and all of us are very just like kind of gregarious, happy-go-lucky guys just having fun with this stuff. And then you go to this con and you have this guy that's like 62 who builds a wall with his short boxes so you can't come back to his wall, and he's like, and it's like, we call him the curmudgeon, and it's like, where are you coming from?
Yeah, I know, they're old school. They're like, and yeah, it's just the prices. What I like at cons is you can find books for runs in like the quality you want, and like at an okay price. Like, you might still be paying a little bit more, but you're at least finding it, right? And you can like look at it, and you can search for books. Wall books are always generally
the only value to be found at a con 100% is in the box hunting, like, and you have a lot of boxes because the wall is like, I look because it's fun to see, but otherwise it's like, get out of here with this.
I'm going to a smaller con on Saturday, and I don't go to cons very often, but I'm always wondering if the smaller cons will have like at least a little bit more reasonable prices, because I did go to a small one, like in like a hotel like banquet place, and some of the dealers were actually pretty reasonable at that kind of like really small. I wouldn't even call it a con, like it's like a one-day swap meet kind of comic
I've
book
heard those
thing,
are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, I hear those are pretty good. I don't have any of those. At least if I do, I don't know of them by me.
Yeah, we've got them up here too. Like, it's not too bad. Like, for hunting in the wild, you just have to know where to go, and I'm still learning, but there are places to go.
Yeah.
What you don't get up here is like guys with like awesome collections and finding stuff at garage sales. Like, I mean, I guess that's kind of rare everywhere, but like, you really don't have that up here. It's
I talk with again, we've talked about Mike from Lunch.
Yeah.
Like I always tell him, like, dude, the plethora of like outlets you have that aren't just a comic book shop, like flea markets and antique shops, like there's nothing close to the level out here with.
It's crazy. Like, he must just live in like a really concentrated area where there's just lots of places and things to find, and it's definitely not like that up here, but we make do, right? We buy on IG, we buy on eBay, and I sometimes go out in the wild.
I try to avoid the eBay, because then it's like we got our deal, but then we got to add the on top of it, and it's like now we're back up to over for like I try to avoid the eBay.
I don't buy a lot on eBay, but when I'm like looking for something specific, or just smaller things. Like I go on there, and I mean, sometimes you could get good deals. Like Dan from Dan's X-Men Comics, he shops a lot on eBay, and
Oh, does he?
he seems to get like pretty good deals. So I've just never really gotten into eBay a lot, like just the odd buy here and there.
Yeah, when I first started, because I wasn't aware of the IG side of things, like in terms of buying, that was my go-to. And then like I finally found the light. And that's the thing, is like I've delved into the card side of things in the last several months, and it's like there's no, like, you almost have to do a lot of it on eBay, and it sucks.
Yeah, yeah. I've been buying some Colossus cards lately, and yeah, it's all been on eBay. I don't really know where. I guess there's probably some accounts I could find on IG, but like the odds of finding a Colossus card, is a little bit more rare. So eBay seems to be kind of the place to look for.
I'll after we get off, I'll send you there's a platform called ComC. It's just a website, and it's check out my cards. And it's got tons of, they even actually have comics on there. But I'll show you a couple of tricks on there, and then you can like literally just search for Colossus and like all the Colossus cards.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that'd be great.
And then there's also like a card Discord that I'm a part of now, and guys post cards that are for sale and what they're looking for. So I've been able to start to steer away from eBay on that side of things. So
that's good. Yeah, because eBay is like so overpriced. Like anything slabbed is like $200. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
There's no way this Colossus card is $200. Come on.
Yeah, the best thing if you're gonna do it on eBay is like hope it comes on auction, because that's the really right price for what it should be.
Yeah, so it would be good to find some new avenues for those cards, because I really only want Colossus cards. I don't really think I'm gonna get into the whole card thing. But
well, that's the thing, is like most people, that's what they do, is they collect, one to, the most I know of is like people that have like 4 characters that they collect, and you kind of just collect those characters because it's too much otherwise to, I want Spider-Man, I want Wolverine, I want this. And I'll say Colossus is a great character because he's got great cards, and the competition is going to be very low.
Yeah.
Compared to like Wolverine, and like Spider-Man and Wolverine are like on another level.
Yeah, I know.
Like Silver Surfer is somewhat competitive for sure, but like not nearly what those are. But like Colossus would be, a level
lower. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's, but also probably less posts and less opportunities to buy him, right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'll send you ComC after we get off of this and check it out. Like it's, you'd be surprised. Like, and I'll teach you a couple tricks on there to how to get some good deals and stuff like that. So
that'd be great.
Yeah. So let's kind of go back to what was it that got you to start the channel? Like what I know you said you just decided to, but like what kind of led up to that?
It's a good question. I actually don't totally know. Like I just got really into watching channels on YouTube, and I guess I just thought like, oh, it would be cool to like have another avenue to share my collection, share what I'm getting, like connect with a whole other, like there's the IG community, but then there's also the YouTube community.
Mm-hmm.
So making a channel is obviously great for getting more involved in the community on YouTube. And yeah, I thought, if the channel did take off, or, got to a point where it could be monetized somewhat, it could be a nice little way of putting a little bit of extra comic book money in my pocket. Right. Yeah, but
sure.
I think that's that was probably a little naive. Not that I thought I was going to blow up overnight or anything, but it's definitely a slow burn to get to that point. And then even when you get to that point, like, I don't know if it's going to really pay off the way I would like it to, but yeah, more than anything, it's just to have fun with it, and to just connect with people.
Do you at all, was it when you were starting, did you at all have any hesitation, since you're kind of flying solo?
No, not really. It took it took me a little bit of time to get into a little bit of a rhythm on like how to do the videos. Like I would say my first couple videos like was a lot of like mess ups and like, you know, starting over and things like that. But I kind of got a bit of a rhythm to it now. And honestly, like a lot of the videos I just kind of wing it. And,
Yeah.
and then, like I don't have time to like sit down and plan out a video, you know what I mean? Like I just want to show my books, or where I put the time in is in editing. That's where it kind of takes up more time. So, and I know it's going to take more time because I have like a design background, graphics background in what I do. Like I work in advertising and in design. So I kind of get kind of nitpicky about stuff when I'm making things. So I knew when I get into the editing and the creating part that I could get in the weeds sometimes, and you know.
I think both JP and I are kind of the we just kind of like turn it on and just like go, and what happens happens, and
Which is kind of fun way to do it, right?
yeah.
And I I definitely don't have that low maintenance on mine stuff. Um, but I'm trying to find ways to just make it a little bit more streamlined. But yeah, it's been fun though. I'm really enjoying it. I'm just the best part about it is the people I've been meeting and the people I connect with. That's really the biggest payoff of
Yeah.
having the channel.
When you talk about like going all in comics, and now you have a channel, what are your friends and family that you see in 3D? What do they think of all of it?
Well, to be honest, I haven't really told a lot of people about the channel in my like like my siblings know and a couple of my cousins know, but like I haven't like gone around and tell, oh, like follow me on my YouTube channel. Like I just kind of, this is kind of my own world, and my real life in person world is a different world. But most people know I'm collecting comics, and some some are encouraging and some are like, well, you're kind of wasting your money and stuff. But you know, in the at the end of the day, I mean, I think it's an investment of some kind. You know, is it the best investment? Maybe not, but it's not like I'm buying something that's just got no value, right? It's
I mean, the way I look at it is like, as long as you're paying your bills and your
yeah,
rent, whatever like that, like everyone has what they put their time and effort into that they enjoy doing, right? It could be golf, it could be,
hmm
you know, decoupage, it could be like it could be anything, but like
yeah,
you'll put your time and your money into that, right? And it's like, or even if you were like a competitive biker, like, or you're just not competitive, but you're into biking, like you're spending $5,000 on a mountain bike and things like this, like you're not
hmm
going to turn on that investment. So it's like we all have a love of something that we put our money into it. I just think it's because it's comic books and it's kind of like, so seen as nerdy, people like make fun of us, but like
yeah,
also in the end of the day, like it is just another form of art. So it's like if you were gonna
hundred
laugh at
percent.
collecting, like it's no, like I said, like obviously like a Da Vinci goes for millions because it's one of one,
Yeah,
right? But at the end of the day, it's just we're just another form of art. It's just another form of it. Like so, it's like no different than that.
yeah, totally. I completely agree. And I mean, I'm passionate about it. It brings joy to my life, and you
Exactly.
know, like that's the most important thing, right? Finding things that make you feel fulfilled and happy, and you know, and and like I said, like I really have enjoyed meeting people and connecting with new people. Because like I'm an I'm a single guy, and a lot of my friends are like getting married and like you know, starting families and stuff. So like I don't see all my good friends as much as I want, but like I can always hop on YouTube and you know, have a chat during the middle of the week with good people and people that share my interests and my passions. So it's a nice way of like having a different friend group, you know.
Yeah.
So I've really enjoyed that part of it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like, I myself, like I have the family with the kids and stuff like that. And so like the collecting side of it was at first just like that escape, and it allowed me to kind of unplug from the reality. Especially like I got back into it during like all the shutdowns and things like that.
Yeah.
So, like you're sitting there like, man, so it was a nice kind of way to get out of it. And then like when you become part of the community and you kind of meet people, like I won't deny, like I think if I didn't interact with the community, there's a very likely chance that like it would have flamed out after 6 months, let's just say, or something like that. But now, because of the community, and then the channel has just kind of increased the size of that community because of it, that it still is alive and well, because it's not necessarily that the books coming in is what fuels me. It's just the talking of it to people and the hunting of it, and just like daily, like, oh, what did you get, or what are you looking for? And like, it's just so fun.
Well, you want to share your passions and your interests with people, right? Like, to keeping it all to yourself, I mean, that might work for some people, but like most people want to have like-minded people around them that they communicate with, and it's community, right? So I think that's what drives more love for what you do. And it's also a great way of learning, right? Like, you learn from people and you see things that they got, and it's like, oh, that's super cool. And it just kind of like continues to just feed the hunger, feed the fire that you have for the hobby, right? So it's just kind of part of it, right? Like, for me, it's like, it's the comics, but it's also sharing it and just being immersed in it with people too. It's all part of it.
I find that like that research side of it is one of the most fun components to it. It's just like, oh, I like this. I want to find out more about it. And then like, okay, like so and so is in this issue, like learning all these things. Like, it's super fun. Like,
yeah, it's great. I love it. It's every aspect of it. It's really fun. So
yeah. Well, right on, man. This was a ton of fun having you on. Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Tell people where can they, and I'll put your link in the description, all that good stuff. But tell people where they can find you, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, so you can find me at Colossus Collector on IG, and then you can find me as Colossus Collector on YouTube. I have videos coming out multiple times a week generally. Everything from unboxings and haul videos to conversations, lives with other content creators and community members, and then just other general comic entertainment on my channel. I'm doing a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. It's a really big giveaway package. I highly recommend you subscribe to my channel and get involved in the chat or in the comments to be eligible for that.
Yeah.
I think if you want it, you wouldn't regret it. So that's kind of what's going on.
How far away are you from 1,000?
So I'm at about 600 and almost 60 or 70 now. So a little ways to go, but help, getting on other channels and having other people on my channel, it helps, get my channel out there. So I appreciate you guys having me on and having a chat. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so, let's get Ryan to 1,000. I think JP and I are only at like 110 or something like that.
I've been trying to pump you guys too, man. Yeah. I love your channel. I love you. I love all the people you have on. You have great people, and I listen to you guys a lot.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, as far as I can like agreed, like what we talked about earlier, like sure it'd be fun to like get a little comic fun coming in, but like otherwise, like as long as we're having fun, I don't care, and that's what it is to me.
Yeah, so. Exactly.
Yeah, right on, Ryan. Thanks for showing up, and everybody like, comment, subscribe. Remember, I'll put Ryan's info in the description. Other than that, we'll check you out on the next time. Peace out, all. Oh, and record.